Tonight we're baking the 69 Camaro, and I've got two infrared lights going, one on each side of the car right now, trying to get this process done so we can start cutting and buffing. This car has 5 coats of clear on it. So we did, the whole car was painted in the Grizzly Gray, the main color of the car. Whole car was painted in pieces in Grizzly Gray, top, bottom, inside out. Then we bolted the car back together to do the stripes, and we put it together, took it apart throughout that process if you watched that video. Now the car is somewhat back together. We're going to start cutting and buffing on this, but before we do that, we want to make sure that our clear is actually dry, because there's a big difference between cured and dried. Cured, this clear is cured in 8 to 12 hours, I would say. Cross-linking the isocyanates, the chemical process of the curing has happened. This clear is cured far before it's actually dry, and that's why we are infrared baking this right now. We are trying to heat these panels. I shoot for about 140 degrees. Right now I'm at about 125, but I just moved that light. We put these panels, we put this entire car through 3 30-minute bake cycles at 140 to 150 degrees panel temp. So just because the clear is cured does not mean that it is necessarily dry, especially with a car like this. In certain areas, there is quite a bit of product even under the clear. With the process of doing the stripes and spraying this color, masking, spraying this color in areas, there's a lot more material that is holding solvent. Not necessarily just clear, because your base coat is a urethane, your clear is a urethane. Those are both breathable products. The solvent that could possibly be even left in the base coat or your sealer even can still come out through the clear, because urethane by nature is porous and therefore breathable, as they say. So the whole purpose of this process is to heat the panel. And what that's going to do is force solvent out from the bottom up. This is very similar to the sun. This is not a UV light. A lot of people get that confused. UV light is different than infrared. But what we are doing with the infrared is basically trying to duplicate the sunlight. Because when this car is done and it's sitting at the car show in the hot sun, these panels are going to get hot, and we want any shrinkage, any solvent that is left, we want that to come out now before we cut and buff, so that after we cut and buff, it will last, it will always stay looking good, it's done shrinking. One good way to know if your clear is actually dry is to smell it. So this is the second bake cycle that I've put this door through. I've done a 30-minute bake at 150, let it cool. We're back on the second 30-minute bake. We are about 20 minutes into our second 30-minute bake. And if I put my nose up to this, I can literally smell the clear. When you can smell it, that is the solvent coming out. Ideally, we like to use the sun for this. It works much better. You can put it out in the sun all day. You don't have to worry about it getting too hot. And it bakes the whole car at once. So it's November in Wisconsin right now, so that's not an option. It's like 40 degrees outside. So during the winter, this is what we do. It's been painted for about a week. We let this dry naturally for about a week, and then we start infrared baking. And one thing that you will notice when you start baking your panels is the panels that you haven't baked yet probably will look a little bit better than the panels that you have baked, because as this is forcing that solvent out, you're forcing shrinkage, you're forcing it to do what it's going to do over time, basically. Another benefit of this is when your clear is actually dried and hard, it's much easier to sand. It doesn't plug the paper up nearly as much. You will actually get it flatter because it is hard. You're not sanding a rubber ball, and your cut and buff job will last a lot longer. In the past, I've had it where I would cut and buff a car and you put it out in the sun for a couple days and it comes back and it looks terrible. It needs rebuffed, and that is because I didn't do this process. I didn't let all the solvent come out. Maybe I buffed it a day or two after we painted it, and this is just more for the longevity of things. And we do this process throughout the process of body work. Most times we'll prime a car in bare metal, we'll bake that primer before we start putting filler over it. We'll prime it again, we'll bake it again, start blocking that. Then when we get to paint, we let it dry naturally for about a week. We start infrared baking. After our infrared baking process is done, then we will start wet sanding with the linear blocks. I try to use a block very similar or the same size. Like for instance, when I block this quarter, if I use the 24-inch block, I'm gonna use a 24-inch block to block that clear. The same block that I blocked filler and primer with. And that is one key element to getting a car actually straight, is to repeat that process many, many times, all the way up to the polish process. When we start blocking this car, we started with 800 around the stripe lines. We want to knock them down quick, get them nice and flat. Another thing I want to touch on about blocking is I get a lot of questions about this, how it looks almost gouged. It's really not. The reason that is because of the hard block. It's because of the sticky back paper on a hard block. And what I mean by that is if I use a foam block, I don't get any of that. And that's because this foam block is really too soft to try to cut something actually flat. When you use a real flat hard block, that sandpaper doesn't move. It doesn't bobble around like a foam block does. It is cutting very precisely, and it does not allow the slurry, the sanded clear, to clean out of that paper nearly as well as it does on a softer foam block that kind of moves around on top of the panel. Now, that being said, that is the difference between using a foam block or a rubber block or a linear block. It does make a difference, especially in this stage. When we look at these light bulbs, right now this clear's a little peely. You can kind of see that light bulb dancing around. You will never get that completely out using a block like this because the block is softer than what you're trying to straighten out. And in my next video, when we start blocking this car, I'm gonna prove that, and you'll have to wait and see how we're gonna prove that. But I will prove that you will never get that cellulite look out completely with a foam block. If I tried to take a piece of foam with, say, 80 grit on it and sand concrete, am I ever going to get that straight? Probably not, because the concrete is so hard and the foam is so soft. It is the same concept with your clear. But this car, we are doing 1,000 grit on a hard block, and then we go to a DA for 1,500, 2,000, 3,000, 5,000. Now, doing that, I was always a big, you got to start with 600 or 800 and block it all the way through. Through the years and trying different things, we have learned that if your clear is actually dry and if it is actually blocked flat to begin with, using the DA after that will save you probably 60 to 80 hours of sanding. And the end result is really almost unnoticeable. It would take a very trained eye to see the difference between blocking all the way through and doing this process correctly and trying to save a little bit of time, because time is money, as we all know. If we can save this guy 100 hours labor and still get the same end result, we're going to do that.